Every single coach on The Voice has their own personal musical tastes, and these preferences will invariably transfer over into the teams that they put together. The result of this is that they quickly find themselves placing artists of comparable quality against one another as soon as the battles begin. As Gabrielle Zabosky and Frankie Torres ascended the stage for the final battle of the night on Tuesday, this was the scenario that they found themselves in simultaneously. Behind the scenes, Torres, who was 24 years old, and Zabosky, who was 25 years old, became good friends. Both of them were members of Team Gwen. They have been hanging out, going bowling and watching movies in order to let off steam in between periods of high competition pressure. They met and connected during the blinds, and they have been doing these things throughout the past few weeks. As it turned out, all of that bonding was actually preparation for the most important test of friendship, which would take place on the battle stage. It was a bittersweet experience because it indicated that one of them was going to depart Team Gwen in some way, shape, or form. Suddenly, they had another reason to hang out, which was a positive development. As the blinds were being played, Zabosky and Torres were both locked in a 4-chair turn, which set the stage for what was going to be one of the most difficult decisions that the competition had seen up to that point. Stefani became aware of the predicament she had gotten herself into by the time the duo had completed their rehearsal of their song selection, which was a modified arrangement of Never Tear Us Apart by ANS. Wow, that was awesome for sure. I am completely and utterly screwed, Stefani remarked. I was completely unaware that they would be such a fantastic complement for each other. The battle between Gabrielle Zabosky and Frankie Torres for the role of Gwen coach on The Voice. In the beginning of the battle song, Torres began it in a low and languid manner, and Zabosky provided supporting vocalization. Once they had mastered a couple of early harmonies, they proceeded to belt out the song, directing it not just at the coaches, but also at each other and the audience. It was very evident that each provided the song with their utmost effort, and there was scarcely a single beat that was overlooked. Although all shone jointly from the elevated position on that stage, it is possible that one of them shone even more brightly than the others. Man, that was incredible. Michael Bublé expressed his admiration for the song, saying, "I love that choice. You guys just stepped up and killed it." The song's lyrics read, "The song is deep and rich and beautiful and shockingly rocking." Bublé expressed admiration on both artists, praising them not just for their vocal force, but also for their restraint, praising them for providing space for the other artist to shine without interference. I was utterly and completely impressed. The fact that it was not about attempting to outdo, but rather about complementing, was something that I found to be really appealing. The statement was made by Snoop Dogg, who stated, "I just want to commend you ladies on singing a song at a high level and making it difficult for Gwen to choose. I adore your tone, Frankie, and I adore the place you are in your register," she said. "My favorite portions of the concert are the high ones, Gabrielle. You remind me so much of Barbara Jean from the Reba show. If I had to choose, I believe that Gabrielle would be the one I would choose," Reba McEntire suggested. In addition, there was Coach Gwen Stefani, who was confronted with a decision that appeared to be impossible. "Frankie, I really admire the fact that you are rocking out, which is something that is really uncommon in today's world, especially for a female. You sounded absolutely great, and it was a remarkable experience. In rehearsals, it was all about getting Gabrielle to get out of her own way. This was the most important consideration. I want you to let loose and just do it because you are really good," Stefani remarked. "I want you to just do it." Zabosky was declared the victor of the battle by Stefani, who then proceeded to move her to the knockout rounds for Team Gwen. This announcement came after a brief discussion. Gabrielle really took things to the next level, and she is incredibly gifted. I believe that as she gains more self-assurance, we will also notice an increase in her vocal skills. I was obligated to accompany Gabrielle, Stefani stated. While this was going on, Torres was saying her goodbyes and receiving some last-minute encouragement from the coaches. It was just as she was about to leave for good when Reba pressed the steal button, thereby bringing Torres on board with Team Reba. McEntire told Stefani, "I did a little play there because I did say Gabrielle, so you go with Gabrielle, so I could have Frankie." "I did a little play there," Macentire said. "Whatever the case may be, I was going to steal." Her tone, her stage presence, and her voice were all things that I adored, and because of this, I had no choice but to pull out my steal for Frankie. An incredible rendition of ANX's famous song, "Never Tear Us Apart," was performed by Frankie Torres and Gabrielle Zabosky during the battle rounds of Season 26 of The Voice. This performance was one of the most thrilling moments of the competition. Fans eagerly anticipated the confrontation between these two powerhouses from Team Michael Bublé, and the night was filled to the brim with anticipation as a result. After they had concluded their performance, the studio exploded into a roaring round of applause, and all four of the coaches stood up to show their appreciation. A match made in heaven. Michael Bublé had made a deliberate selection of Frankie and Gabrielle for this duet, since he was confident that the combination of their individual approaches would result in a mystical synthesis. The dynamic and fascinating sound that was developed was a result of the combination of Gabrielle's soaring soprano and Frankie's velvety baritone. During the rehearsal process, Bublé took great care to collaborate with both artists, putting an emphasis on the emotional depth of the song. He explained to them that the song was a love song that was all about being vulnerable and connecting with others. "If you are able to make the audience feel every word, you will have them in the palm of your hand," the speaker declared. Snoop Dogg, who was present throughout the rehearsals, was so excited that he could not contain himself. "You guys are about to ignite this stage," he added with a smile that was instantly recognizable as his hallmark. "The chemistry between them is really great." The show in question. After the lights were turned down and the first eerie notes of "Never Tear Us Apart" filled the studio, Frankie and Gabrielle strolled onto the stage, conveying an air of self-assurance and composure. The first words were carried by Frankie's rich, resonant voice, which established a dark and emotional tone for the piece. When Gabrielle joined in, her voice rose naturally, and it connected with Frankie's in a way that was in perfect harmony. The way in which they demonstrated their feelings was nothing short of amazing. Gabrielle's delicate falsetto created a stunning contrast with Frankie's robust, earthy tone, which resulted in a sound that was exceptionally deep and textured. It was easy to feel the energy between the two of them, and their connection to the words was clear in every glance and motion they made. By the time they arrived at the bridge that served as the climax, the entire room was completely captivated. Reactions from the coaches. Extensive standing ovations were given by both the coaches and the crowd at the conclusion of the performance. Clearly moved, Michael Bublé clapped loudly as he looked at the audience. His voice was filled with pride as he uttered the words, "That was extraordinary. The two of you grabbed a song that was already legendary and made it your own. I could not be more pleased with myself." In the same vein, Snoop Dogg was extremely effusive in his compliments. He did so while leaning forward in his chair and exclaiming, "Man, that was a vibe. You possessed the spirit, the vitality, and the fervor," she said. "The way to do it is like that." She was full of enthusiasm for Reba McEntire, who is well known for her keen ear and her ability to provide constructive criticism. She remarked that the manner in which the two of you backed each other vocally was very remarkable. "I got chills from Gabrielle's high notes, and Frankie's voice is like butter. Gabrielle, your high notes gave me chills. What a remarkable display." Gwen Stefani, who is known for her boundless enthusiasm, was unable to contain her joy. It was then that she said, "This is why I love The Voice. The house has been brought down by you. This was a masterpiece. This is a difficult choice." In light of the fact that Michael Bublé had delivered such an outstanding performance, the emphasis was on him to decide which artist would move on to the subsequent round. His admission was that "This is the most difficult decision I've ever had to make. Both of you are so very gifted, and you each gave it your absolute best effort." Michael made his decision after a lengthy pause, noting Gabrielle Zabosky's exceptional vocal range and her capacity to connect with the audience as the reasons for his decision. He remarked to Gabrielle, "You possess something that is truly exceptional. What are you going to do next? I can't wait to find out." The news was handled with elegance by Frankie Torres, despite the fact that she was plainly disappointed. With a smile that conveyed his determination, he stated, This is not the end for me. The encouragement that I received from Michael and the other artists is something that I am thankful for. I am grateful for this experience. A protective surprise. At precisely the moment when it appeared that Frankie's journey had come to an end, Snoop Dogg pressed his buzzer, utilizing his one and only theft. The declaration that Snoop made was, "I'm not going to let you go that easy, Frankie. I am going to make sure that the entire world is aware of the talent that you possess," she said. As soon as Frankie joined Team Snoop, the crowd erupted in laughter and cheers. Frankie asserted, "I'm ready to bring the heat," demonstrating a renewed level of enthusiasm. Behind the scenes. Backstage, both candidates commented on their performance and the emotional journey building up to it. The opportunity to perform alongside Frankie was something that Gabrielle expressed her appreciation for. It was her statement that he is an incredible artist. "This is an experience that I will never forget because we challenged each other to become better people." As a result of having been given a second opportunity on Team Snoop, Frankie was equally reflective. "Because of this competition, I have gained a great deal of knowledge about myself and my music," he said. "I can't wait to see what comes before us. From here on out." As the tournament moves into the knockout rounds, the stakes are higher than they have ever been before. Gabrielle is now a member of Team Michael, and Frankie is now a member of Team Snoop. Both musicians have demonstrated they have what it takes to captivate an audience, and fans are eagerly awaiting their next performances. There have been a lot of unexpected things that have happened throughout the battle rounds of The Voice Season 26, and the duet that Frankie and Gabrielle performed of "Never Tear Us Apart" will certainly be remembered as one of the most memorable moments of the season. The path to determine who will be the next champion of The Voice continues, and you should stay tuned for more spectacular performances and heartbreaking showdowns throughout the process.